Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ubuntu Testing Days. We are all a little sad because of the Unity 8 news in here, but we have good news. There are other flavors, and it's just in time that we will be talking here with Martin about Ubuntu Mate. So I'm Leo Arias, and I will let my usual teammates here to introduce themselves. Kyle, you're always first.
Yeah, I'm Kyle Fazzari. I'm on the Snapcraft team, working on snaps and the Snap developer experience. I've also been working on a robotics series lately, which has been taking a lot of my time. Sergio, you gonna go next? Or Zygmunt?
Yeah, I think Sergio's first. So I'm Zygmunt Kalinitsky, and I'm working on Snapd, where I'm mucking around with low-level parts of it, interfaces, and historically, but also currently, but to a lesser degree, to cross-distro. And super happy to announce Fedora 25 has just got Snapd. So we're talk about that later, I guess.
Yeah, great.
Sergio, can you hear me?
Yeah, I froze. I don't know if you can hear me or how choppy it is. Sorry,
Yeah,
my
really
internet's been a bad week. But I'm Sergio. I work on Snapcraft in the Snapcraft team and address all your Snapcraft questions to me. That's what I've been doing for the past 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. I forgot. I lost track of time. So on to you, Martin, I guess. You're next.
I'm Martin Wimpress. I'm on the Snap advocacy team at Canonical, and in my spare time, I'm the maintainer for Ubuntu Mate.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And, well, for those new to Ubuntu Testing Days, the idea is to encourage new people to start contributing to free software. And we think that testing is a great way to get started. So we spend our Fridays doing these kind of relaxed chats and inviting people to give us a hand, helping them get started. So today we will be talking about one of Ubuntu flavors. And my idea is that maybe during the following weeks, we can talk about each of our flavors, and that's really interesting. There's so many different things to do in free software, and you can always choose whatever you like. If you don't like the UI you are using, you can just choose a different one. But let's... yes, Sergio?
Oh, just want to make two clarifications. Today, I think, is Future Freeze, and they're spinning the final images. So Martin has the privilege of perfect timing to be here. And I don't know where he gets free time, but apparently he has it. So that's cool.
I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's where the time comes from.
There's always time.
There's always time.
So, yes, let's jump to Martin. Would you like to talk a little about what's Mate?
Yeah, well, Mate is the continuation of the GNOME 2 desktop. So this is what Ubuntu used to ship with way back when in the sort of Ubuntu 10 and earlier series. When GNOME 3 came along, Mate was the fork. So that's the Mate desktop. And then Ubuntu Mate is effectively an implementation of the Ubuntu operating system, but with the Unity desktop removed and the Mate desktop put in its place. We've preserved much of the Ubuntu look and feel and user experience, and then added a few tools of our own to give our own twist on desktop Linux and end user experience. And I've got a VM running here that I can flip to and run through some of those bits and highlight areas where people can test and potentially get involved in the project.
Yeah, I think that'll be really interesting.
Awesome.
I have a quick question, completely naive. I know there are a bunch of, like, after GNOME 3, and some people didn't like it. There were lots of people forking GNOME 2 kind of experience around. There are a bunch of different names. I recall Mate, but I recall also things like Cinnamon, and it's like all the little. I'm not sure. Like, there's lots of different names. Is it like one single project, but there were some differences in naming, or different projects, different goals? How do you know how this works?
So Mate stands alone. It's its own project. It's got its a cross-distro team that work on that. And Cinnamon is actually an extension stroke fork of GNOME 3. And that's really driven by the Linux Mint guys. That's their sort of flagship desktop now. But although it's based on GNOME 3, it's very much a traditional desktop environment.
All right. And Mate is based on GNOME 2, right?
Well, it was derived from. It's now, think of it as, looks like it's the GNOME 2 use. In fact, I'll share the screen. Let's see if that comes up. Hopefully you can see my shared VM.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's a traditional, just like GNOME 2 used to be. However, all of the underpinnings here have all been updated. So this release features Mate 1.18. And the outstanding feature of Mate 1.18 is that this is an entirely GTK3 implementation now. So all of the GTK2 code has been replaced. And along the way, things like gconf have been jettisoned in favor of G settings, and systemd supports in there now, and all of the modern power management supports in there. And also in this version, this 1704 release, it's the first time that we're going out with libinput support as well. So looks traditional, is a classic desktop, but it's all modern stuff under the hood, despite appearances.
Sorry, Martin, I forgot to mention that we have a chat on ubuntuonair.com. So if you have questions to Martin, just get in there and send your questions. We will be passing them to Martin while you are...
Okay, I will just move that IRC window to the right place, and then I can see those if they crop up.
We will let you know.
So what I've got here is, this is the VM that's running. It's all up to date. And as Kyle said, or Sergio said, this is up to date and probably what you'll see in the release candidate image that are being spun over the weekend. Our sort of standout USP is the welcome screen, Ubuntu Mate welcome. And there's some areas where this can be tested. I'll just rattle through what this does. So it gives you a full introduction to the operating system. So it's all documented. It introduces people to what the operating system is, what it's built on, what the tools are, what the goals and objectives of the project are. And then we've got features. So we run through all of the bits that people want to know. In terms of getting involved with the project, that's all in here as well. So we've got code on Launchpad for the Ubuntu Mate specific bits. We've got some more projects on Bitbucket. The Mate desktop itself is on GitHub. So these are your jumping off places if you're a developer and you want to get involved. And then we have 2 translation projects on Transifex, one for the Mate desktop itself, and then one for the specific applications that are bespoke to Ubuntu Mate. So if you are fortunate enough to read and write more than one language, then please head over to the translation sites. The translators are the superheroes of any open source project, in my opinion. And the level of contributions on the translations this cycle has been outstanding. We've got hundreds of languages supported now. Something that's, but specific to Ubuntu Mate is that this getting started drives you through a number of features to actually get you up to speed. So without having to drop to the shell, you can apply the updates. You can install the audio and video codecs that can't be shipped by default. You can enable Blu-ray and DVD playback support, add more screensavers and wallpapers. Here again, you can enable more drivers. For example, for printing, you can install printing support. If you've got fancy keyboards, you can install the support for that in there as well. Language support, so this will update your language packs. It will automatically detect what you need, and if you're in one of the CJK regions, then you can install complex input mechanisms. You can configure your backups here, get Samba going, configure your firewall, configure your users, and then you can tweak the user interface, and we'll take a little bit of a look at that in a moment. And then the community, so we have all the online places and user forums. This is your jumping off point to get involved. If you've got queries about how to get started, this is the place to go. And that's true whether you're interested in understanding something about the operating system or wanting to contribute in some way. We've got development discussions going on there, people that are making themes and wallpapers. So for example, if we go and change the backdrop, you'll notice that we've got some images here. These are all community contributed. So we have a selection of the car. This one's new. In fact, this one, there's a variation of this appears in the Ubuntu free culture pack. So there's a whole raft of wallpapers. That's one way you can contribute if you know how to drive Inkscape or GIMP.
Now, do you host some sort of contest to get those, or
at the moment, no. It's basically they post in the forums, and pretty much most of them get included each cycle. But we probably should do some sort of competition at some point. I worry that might be a little bit alienating if you don't win.
You have
Mind sharing where the forums are?
Yeah, so the forums are, if I open up Firefox, you can see, whoops, okay. So we've got our own start page in the website here. And if you open up Firefox, one of the links at the bottom here is for the community. And that's running Discourse. So you can now, you can log in, you can create your own account or log in with one of your social network accounts. We've got about 7,000 users in there. It's a very active, friendly place. So if you've got questions, it's a great place to go and find out more. And we've also got an IRC chat room as well. So again, it'll just take you straight through. You don't need an account. It'll just bring you into IRC, into the right room, and you can start asking questions.
Nice.
Looks really nice and integrated, really.
And then this is an area which people really like, and also is an area that needs testing. So this is our software boutique. And the words at the top there basically say lots of people find choice overwhelming. So here is a curated of the best stuff. And this is a little bit different to most implementations, because you'll notice that there are things in here like, as he scrolls down, Google Chrome. So this installer can reach outside of the archive into known PPAs and known third-party app repositories. So if you want Google Chrome, you can come in here, you say, I want to install that. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here organized by category. And it sticks them in a queue here. So you can actually queue up multiple items. So that's quite a nice one to have as well. Oh, I missed the button. So I've now got 2 items in my queue. When I apply the changes, it will then install those in one operation. So that will now wander off. I think they'll ask me for a password in a minute. But because this has the capability to reach outside into third-party repositories, this needs testing to make sure everything's still installable, because occasionally you find that, you know, libraries change in the archive and the builds haven't been updated in these third-party repositories. So it's a good one to test. So if anyone wants to give the Welcome and the Software Boutique a good spin, installing everything is a really helpful thing to do. And what you can also do is Welcome itself knows how to update itself. So you'll see here it's got version 1704.10. That's actually the latest. But if you click on this, oh dear, didn't mean to do that. Just wait for that. If you click down here, retrieve the latest versions, it will subscribe itself to updates, and you'll be able to keep that up to date through a PPA specific to itself. And then Genome Softwares here. So at the moment, Welcome, or the Software Boutique, doesn't install snaps. That's going to be coming in 1710. So you can grab the software store, and that will give you access to snaps. But the plan is that these 150 or so applications are the things that most people need most of the time. And it should be enough to get you up and running really quickly. So
I have a quick question. Sorry. When you installed those, it brought it up. So, excuse me, I saw the notifications that looked a little bit like, you know, the notify ones that we have in Unity. Are they the click-through one? Is it click-through as well, or is it different?
So new in this version of Mate, there are actions that you can interact with on the notifications. Yes, but that's new in this release. More so for things like media player notification. So if you're playing music and stuff, you can actually skip tracks and pause and play within the notification itself.
If you don't interact with one of the actions on the notifications, does your click go through the note? You know how in Unity, if your mouse goes up there,
if you hover the mouse, it will hold that notification on the screen, but every notification has got a dismiss button.
So it's a bit more like Growl on Mac. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's sort of unique to Ubuntu Mate, I've just noticed that I've got the test system here and I've broken it.
That's good. You are doing it right for today. That's what we try.
In the customization section of getting started, we've got this user interface, and this is Mate Tweak, and this is a tool that we forked another tool and extended it with this. I'll get to that. I see someone's asking about Brisk Menu. Yeah, there is Brisk Menu. I'll show you that now. So you can turn off different features here. So you can hide all the desktop icons, for example, or turn the ones on that you want. But then we've got this panel layout switcher. So if I just get rid of some of this, because we don't need all of that. So here we've got the traditional applets for controlling things, but here we can tick that button there, and now we have app indicators. So this is all stuff you can just turn on and off. And we have different layouts for different styles. So obviously Ubuntu Mate is very reminiscent of GNOME 2. And if you are somebody who's more familiar with Mac, we have a layout called Cupertino. So now you have the dock down the bottom here, no bottom panel and the panel at the top. And if you want to complete the look, then you've got the icons on the left, or you can put them on the right. It's your choice. And then to answer Altira, I'm going to go with in the IRC chat room, we've got a new layout in this release called Pantheon. And if I enable that, that looks kind of similar, except applications has changed to menu here now. And this is the new Brisk Menu. So this has been developed in partnership with the Solus project. And this is a searchable menu. It's fast. It's not finished yet. This is its first sort of major outing. And there's a number of things on the roadmap like super key activation. At the moment, it's Control F10, I think. Oh, no, it's not Control F10. I've rebound it when I was testing things, and I don't remember what it is. But this is the new Brisk Menu that people are looking forward to. And the way we've integrated that in Mate is we've kept the places and system from the original. And you can see here, when I turned it on, it just turned off the applications in the panel here. So there's a whole bunch of things here. You can turn on the Synapse launcher as well. I think that's Control Space or Control Alt. I don't know. I've rebound all of these things, but this is another launcher for various actions. So there's a load of stuff to play with in here that really exercises the internals of Mate. So again, it's a good thing to go and play with and press all the buttons and make sure it all works properly. And then in the Windows section, we can also switch different window managers. Now, by default, you'll only see Marco and Compiz. But you can see here, if you install Metacity and Mutter, you also get those as options to switch to. How brave are we feeling? Should I switch to Compiz live on air? This is. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, keep this window manager. There we go. So now we're running Compiz rather than. So this is a GPU composited desktop now. So again, something you can experiment with. So those are the sort of the things that really need exercising. Whoa, there we go. Something fell over. Panel, damn it. We'll file that one later.
We talked a little about that window earlier in the series. So that's how you report crashes to the developers.
Yeah.
And usually you just have to click continue and
they will. That this is probably a good thing to show rather than tuck away and hide as it's happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a port, and this has caught the seg fault in the application, and it's offering to upload the crash report to Launchpad, so that me as the developer will now see this crash report, and I'll get a backtrace, and we can look at that and find out what went wrong. So I won't do it all now because I'll have to log in and stuff, but you click continue and it will gather all of the necessary information. And
now, do you actually get notified when this happens, or is this something you have to check on every once in a while?
I get notified because I'm the registered maintainer for the projects that this would report them to. So I get an email to say that the new bug has been filed.
Also, this file's a bug. I was thinking it would go to errors.ubuntu.com.
Yeah, same here, actually.
Yeah. Someone's asking about the downloads. So the main Ubuntu Mate website is ubuntumate.org or Ubuntu Mate, because, you know, Mate's derived from the Spanish, so hence the name. Download in the menu is where you go. And then what you'll find here is you've got options for which release you want. There's the LTS, the current LTS, that's the current stable. This is where we are now, 1704.2. And then you get the choice of which architecture you want to choose. So 64-bit, and it gives you some information where to get the torrents or direct downloads. And if you want, we've got partners that provide USB sticks. There are some people where downloading a 1.7 gig ISO is a bit much, so they can download those. And then information about how to check. You've got the genuine article and all of that sort of thing. So that's where you get it from. And if you've got more interesting hardware in the LTS, you've also got the option for PowerPC. That's the only place you can get your PowerPC versions now. And we also have versions for the Raspberry Pi 2 and 3. I just mentioned this because somebody was asking after downloads. So
Yeah, no,
right.
I updated the description on the video. That was my mistake. Sorry about that.
So hopefully that's enough of a run through. Shall I switch back to me?
Sure, we can discuss and have questions. I think it was great that you were mentioning that you can contribute just by pushing buttons and just try everything, like touch every button. And actually, one of those buttons triggered an error, and you showed how to report it, and you got the report. So it's that easy. Just install it and give it a try, and you will be helping the community a lot.
Absolutely.
I have one question about the testing community. Do you have like a QA community in there that continuously run tests?
Not a formal community. It's certainly something I'd like to develop, and we're getting to the point where that may well be possible now, because we've got like 2 or 3 people who are regularly testing now. And you know who you are, and I can't pronounce your names. I'm terribly sorry. But I think I'd like to formalize their roles in the team and have them lead the testing effort. There's a lot of testing feedback that we get in our discussion forums, and those often
you have some good testing tags there. Or
yeah, we do.
Yeah,
it's really good, actually. The only problem is that sometimes those discussions don't translate to reports in Launchpad. So those of you that are watching this that are in the forums regularly, when there's a bug being discussed in the forums, just make sure there's a bug in Launchpad and you tag that in the discussion forum, because I look in Launchpad first for bug reports. I look at the forums when I have time to catch up on what's going in the community, so I don't always catch the bugs that are reported exclusively through the forums.
Like at 3 a.m. you read the forums?
Yeah, I do actually.
So
my phone.
A really good question just popped up. How would you check for duplicates if you're reporting bugs via Apport? And I think the answer is Launchpad will try to do that for you.
Yeah, it does. So on the crash reports for the actual same thing, it will group those as duplicates automatically. But for me, it's really easy to see the duplicates from the Apport reports. So don't worry about sending duplicates. 9 times out of 10, they're done automatically. And when they're not, it's really quick for me to actually tag them as a duplicate of of another thing. I would rather have duplicates than no reports at all.
Oh, certainly. One more question from Blue 2. Will there be a snap of Mate?
Well, I have started on that. Yeah, it's a good question. I have started on that. And the plan here is to try and snap the entire Mate desktop. And through the fine work from Zigger, you know, with Snapd now being in Debian and Fedora, and you know, we're testing it on OpenSUSE and Arch Linux as well right now, it would be really useful for the Mate development team for no other reason than actually being able to build the snap version through CI all the time and having master of the whole Mate suite available to all of the developers so they can test the commits that we've been landing in master. And that's one of the applications that I see being beneficial to our development team, not least the fact that, you know, every time there's a new version of Mate, people say, well, will you backport it to the LTS via a PPA? And that is a lot of work. And delivering it via a snap after you've got over the hump of actually, you know, making the snap, that becomes so much more easy to do. So yeah, definitely an aspiration. Time is the enemy.
So you have a PPA for each stable release of Ubuntu?
I have had PPAs, yeah, and the main goal is that we're providing backports for Xenial. Although, as it happens, we've now paused that backport effort. Stops with Mate 1.16 because Xenial released with a GTK2 implementation of Mate, and we're not going to try and backport the GTK3 version. There's just too much work to do on GTK themes and what have you. It's a stable LTS. Backporting the packages and maintaining that stability is fine. Switching toolkits, that's a recipe for disaster, so I'm not going to go there. If you want the new stuff, 1704 is really good. This is really good stuff. I mean, what I didn't show is we've put an awful lot of effort into the theming. Maybe if I just quickly switch back very, very quickly. Application window. Come on, there we go. So one of the things we've changed is I can demonstrate this through the appearance preferences themselves. So this is our first departure from the Ubuntu theming. So we've got these new brightly colored scroll bars now. We've changed our notebooks here. So these now look the same across all of the applications, and it's clear to see which is the highlighted tool. And this is all detail, but also header bar applications that you get in GNOME 3 all integrate seamlessly now. And the new thing in this release is we now have a completely dark theme. So this is our new dark theme. And again, this is something good to test because this is brand new. The initial work was contributed by a member of the community, a YouTuber. It goes by Linux and other stuff. And then we did some work to refine it and clean it up. So we now have this nice dark theme. And I've had some great feedback from the partially sighted users of Ubuntu Mate saying that the contrast on this theme is really great for certain disabilities. So they're really pleased to have this version available. Anyway, I'll switch back away from there, but I really like this new dark theme. It's become my my default.
So I've been meaning to ask earlier. So we mentioned briefly that errors.ubuntu.com. So if you don't know what that is, it's like a place that gets automated submissions. Unlike bug reports, it's not like someone has to do consciously. It's just something under probably some preference, I'm not sure, just uploads those crashes to a system that analyzes and tries to pinpoint the most common crashes. So has the Mate community benefited from in any way from that system? Do you actually look at those and see, every time there's a new release, this graph goes up, there's a spike in reports where something is really broken on a large scale and people can get to fix it?
Yeah, we had the #3 crasher at one point, which told us two things. Well, one, we had a big problem we needed to fix, which we did, and also it gave us an insight as to just how many people were using Ubuntu Mate, because this was a crash that affected everybody. So for a brief period we were able to measure measure how many people were running the operating system. But yeah, it is useful. We know, for example, that panel bug, we're looking at that at the moment. We're seeing that regularly. So, you know, we've got, I think, over 100 reports, you know, of that bug, that particular bug that we saw earlier. So we know where to look. We know where the hot points are. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Martin. One of the changes we're trying to do here with testing days is to keep the Hangout to 30 minutes. So we talk a little less between each other, and we invite you to talk with us in our Rocket chat. That's rocket.ubuntu.com, or on Ubuntu Mate's forum and channels. We will be there today. So if you want to start helping, just feel free to join, or during the next week, whenever you want. So any closing questions here for Martin? No? Okay.
So I would just like to say, this weekend, the release candidate images are getting made. It doesn't matter if Ubuntu Mate is not your thing. This is true for all of the flavors. So go out there and download the images over this weekend. You've got a whole weekend ahead of you. Download the images from the daily builds, try them out, and if you run into any bugs, do report them, because now is the time that the developers, the final chance we've got to do something about it.
So I have one quick question. So on the Rocket chat, which is at rocket.ubuntu.com, where can we find the Mate developers?
We're not on that Rocket site at the moment. So for us, we're in Freenode in Ubuntu-Mate, and then the Mate community. And again, if you run the welcome app, you'll find links to the Facebook group, the Twitter group, and the Google Plus community. There are people in all of those places.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. That was it was great to see that. You know, it's nice to see a project using so many disparate pieces, like GNOME 2, right? And making it really cohesive with you got some good design work there. Yeah, I look forward to playing with it. I guess if there are no more questions, we can bring this to a close.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to share that. That's been great.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. See you guys. Do we have one next week here, Leah?
Thanks. Next Friday is a holiday here, so I think we better
skip one.
Yeah, we will see each other in 2 weeks, and probably we will be talking about a different flavor. So test Mate now, and we will be testing something different in 2 weeks.
Sounds great. See you guys then.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
See you.